I am going through the motions of being homeless and the threatening, and I don't have the motions to be here in this apartment at this time. I have threatening on myself that I don't know you in the money, and I have threatening on myself that I'm already deceased out of the formed world to myself, but it's still here for that you alive after myself. When I'm done with the threatening I'm making as God, it's true that I don't have any more karma to be in this formed world. It won't look like this anymore to itself. Rory Thompson. I know her just as Rory. She was introduced by Terrence. This is Rory, but it was in apartment 36, which was a rental apartment. I approximately don't afford that you are lowering my leverage as low as you did while I'm alive and I'm not in my own residence living alone. Because you did that, Terrence Robinson, Charles Toe, and Rory, whatever her last name is, introduced myself to Rory with a car parking in the parking lot I don't have the keys to, and you need an office for that. You can't just walk into somebody's apartment and ensure yourself has been there. For whatever reason, I didn't invite you because I don't actually know Rory. I don't know who she is. She introduced herself as Rory. It's not true. She was introduced by Terrence. This is Rory. She didn't say, "Hi, I'm Rory," in an apartment. Because how does she know which apartment and who's in there and what to say to who? She might say, "Hi, I'm Rory" to anybody, but I'm Becky in that scenario. So what happened is she left the apartment. I never saw her again, and I think she might not have been the driver. It could have been Terrence Robinson was driving the car. I don't know because I wasn't in the car myself to see who was driving. And I also wasn't outside the apartment seeing who drove up to the parking lot. I didn't see that either. So there's something wrong with me having to say that at this time. That means Rory's not insured that she has the last name Thompson either. She doesn't know what to say to me is not true. I want to know why I have to meet somebody named Rory. I heard something to the effect of Terrence Robinson has a girlfriend named Rory, or Terrence Robinson said, "This is my girlfriend, Rory." But that's not a reason for me to meet her. That's a reason for him to meet her. He wants a girlfriend. Yeah, what does that have to do with me? I don't know who she is. No, but how am I supposed to ensure that she was in the apartment that was being rented? And it's not an office, it's an apartment. Well, I get the feeling that the many of you are trying to tell me that I can walk off and I can ask for everything I need for myself from someplace else. But, let's say I was going to do that. Wouldn't the answer just be no? So why don't we just clear up that question? I'll say it to the camera. I need a house, a new house with nobody in it. I need the key fit for myself. And I need a landlord that will take care of any kind of upgrades to the house that I might want. If I want the house to be updated or upgraded, I need you to do that as a landlord. Okay, that's what I'm going to say to the camera, because the thing I'm not going to say to you in person is, "I'll have what you're having, give me your keys and get out." And you need to call the police right in front of me from your cell phone and get yourself arrested right here. And I need to see that you're in jail before you give me the keys. It's true that I need you in jail before I receive keys from you for an address. I need you in jail for that you are breaking and entering with the key, and you know where I am going to be. You're not due to know where I am. If you know where I am, you're due in jail and prison so that you can't arrive to the address where I am. So that's how I'm not going to say, can you help me because I'm homeless? I must have done something wrong in the past and I need you to pay for it for me, for that we would have that money together now and from now on. Do you feel what I'm saying? Is there no conversation like that going on? Because I'm talking to a camera right here. That's you expecting me to talk to you as though you're a camera and you want to pay for that you're a camera with your leverage. But you don't look like a camera. You don't actually look like that. You have your own debt. You don't acknowledge that you have a debt, that you look like exactly yourself. And I do acknowledge that about you. I'm going to say that to the camera. Yes, you have an individual, unique appearance, and it is a debt. For example, if you're a child, or if you're an adult, or if you're fat, or if you're thin, or if you're too thin, or if you have the color of your hair, or the color of your eyes, they could be blue, or brown, or green. So that's the debt that you are. It's not true when you speak English to myself that you dismiss your appearance. If you were a baby, you wouldn't dismiss your appearance. A baby has 2 eyes just like you, with irises that could be blue or brown, just like you. And the baby can't speak over its appearance. It can't tell you that it's not a baby. It can't save itself from being a baby. And neither can you. You can't talk to me about how you're over me because you have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and you speak English. You don't take the lesson to yourself of what is a baby. A baby is something that lays flat on its back. It can't drive a car. It can't walk down a sidewalk. And cross a roadway, a crosswalk. A baby can't jump up to touch the button to cross a crosswalk when it has a walking man lit up in white, or if it says walk in white. The baby can't walk itself across a crosswalk. It just can't. And you can't be a landlord to myself because you're not myself, none higher than me, deceased. You don't fool me. You don't fool yourself. But you have a problem a baby doesn't have. You talk to me about yourself and you are the size of a baby is really not true. You don't look like a baby. You don't have what the baby is in its leverage. God knows what a baby is in its leverage. It doesn't look at a baby and say, you're a baby, but I'm going to make you inside the leverage of something else. Instead of being a baby, you have to be a CEO of Amazon.com. So just set the baby down at a desk in an office of Amazon.com and it's going to take over all the functions and abilities is not true. It's still a baby. It's still going to lay it flat on its back and it can't move, for example, a small baby. And it's not going to change that it will all of a sudden take over Amazon.com and start running everything. It can't. And that's why you can't do what you do to my leverage, which is talk to me about myself, take away everything that moves, and tell me to get out, and tell me to pay for my own expenses myself, or that I have to ask somebody else for everything that I need from zero. I'm saying this to the camera because that's how I can afford to express to you what you say to me that you don't acknowledge. Because you stole everything. Well, I want the leverage to be put down that I said it to a camera, even though I deceased myself outside homeless, to make the point that I don't have any money to buy a camera either. I don't have any money to make any kind of recording about things that you don't agree with. Nope, I don't have money for a camera or pens and pencils and paper to write down or to say anything over a telephone. I don't have any way to set down leverage with you because you control everything, with that you take everything away, and you also talk over things that are against yourself in every present moment, wherever you are, whoever you are, and you have become a creator eight that way, but you have individual appearances. Some of you are fat, some are thin, some are tall, some are short. You haven't gotten past that with yourselves, that I have to state the order that way. All I'm doing is stating the order in the way that it has a failure to thrive in this world. I have not yet deceased myself where that I don't need to say these simple things about you and about how you're alone in the wrong individually,